As many essential workers during the pandemic were risking their lives to keep us safe and to keep the country running, it uncovered the inequities that many experienced long before the pandemic started. In his new book, Essential: How the Pandemic Transformed the Long Fight for Worker Justice, author and sociologist Jamie McCollum explains how the essential workers hailed as heroes came together to fight for workers' rights. Thank you, Jamie, so much for joining us. I want to start off by just quoting something you wrote. You say, essential workers were called heroes when they went to work and treated like sacrificial lambs when they got there. Just briefly explain for us how the pandemic exposed these unseen struggles of the working class.
Yeah, so there's a rhetorical move to, identify retail workers and nurses and nursing home aides as heroes, but without really changing the material conditions under which they worked. Sure, some people got a raise, some people get some hazard pay here and there, but by and large, the workers I interviewed felt a real cognitive dissonance between the kind of public adulation they received and then the working conditions that they labored under. And some of that tension, I think, is really what gave rise to sort of a pandemic labor movement.
When we talk about high-risk, low-paying jobs, often we're talking about jobs that are worked by black and brown people. Talk to us about how this fight for equality in the workplace also has these racial implications.
Sure. So the essential working class is disproportionately black and brown and female. And most of my interview subjects were women of color for the most part. And then you had a Black Lives Matter movement talking about the strike for black lives and using the language of labor out in the streets. So there was a moment of this class that was really, that sort of transcended the workplace in a way, which is a pretty interesting development.
And one other thing that you write, you say, we all have a stake in improving the lives of those who took care of us during our darkest days. Tell us more about how you see these direct links between our collective well-being and the well-being of essential workers.
Yeah, I mean, the easiest way to put it is the working conditions of essential workers are our living conditions. If teachers have what they need to do their job well, our kids will. If nurses and nursing home aides have the supplies they need to stay safe themselves, like, we will be safer. And during the pandemic, I think that was revealed in a very concrete way. Like, if your grocery store workers did not have to work multiple jobs and could therefore be lower at risk, your store was safer to go to, as a consumer.
What would you say are the structural changes and the policy solutions needed to make a difference?
We need people to be able to organize at a workplace and to form a union easily. So a lot of this research for this book uncovered or sort of revealed the idea that, like, unions are closely associated with public health. Like, if your nursing home if your staff was unionized in your nursing home, then your population of residents were far less likely to die of COVID. And unions have long been associated with those kinds of things.
Do you think that there is staying power, though? I mean, we see all the attempts to unionize at Amazon or Starbucks, and it seemed like that kind of was born out of the pandemic. As we move potentially further away from the pandemic, do you feel that that'll remain?
The staying power of the movement? Yeah, I mean, I think the labor movement that we see now, the explosions at Amazon and Starbucks and the UC system and other places across the country, organizing and, like, workplace militancy is up like tenfold. And that spirit was animated by the pandemic.
What do you feel that the business owners or the corporations need to know and really truly understand about unions so that it doesn't feel like there's this yin and yang?
I think they know. I think they know. And,
then why resist it?
I mean, bottom line, like, unionized workers have better health care, which is often employer paid. They make more money. They work fewer hours. Like, those jobs are better, and sometimes employers feel like they lose out. What employers do get when there's a union workforce is a more stable workforce, often a more highly trained workforce, a more committed workforce, loyal. And I think that those benefits, some of it we saw during the pandemic, but I think corporations don't see it that way, but there's a lot of evidence that actually that is the case.
Jamie McComley, thank you so much for coming by. Appreciate it. Want to let everyone know that his book, Essential: How the Pandemic Transformed the Long Fight for Worker Justice, is now available wherever books are sold.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.